So Greg, I mean, I'm not sure if I need to tell you this, but some of your shirts are kind of crappy. I mean, you know,
What do you mean by crappy? They got a sweet little pocket right here.
I mean they
That's
could be better. I mean, there's a place I know where it has lots of cool stuff. Uh,
yeah, but how cool?
we're talking about AAA cool. We're talking about shirts from 86.com. They're a pretty cool site. They sell all types of merchandise, including t-shirts, keychains, and other cool stuff that they sell on their site. And also have awesome video game material as well, such as Street Fighter, Killer Instinct, Guilty Gear, Skullgirls, BlazBlue, Smite, and 86's own brand of t-shirts as well as other stuff. Recently they put out some new keychains for Street Fighter 5. So yeah, there's some awesome stuff there. So I'm just suggesting, next time you go out and buy a shirt of any kind, I suggest check out 86.com. And if you want to support us and them at the same time, please use this link in your web browser to check out 86.com. Put in www.86.com !AFF equals 4. Again, www.86.com !AFF equals 4. This link will tell them that we sent you and that we're cool with them as long as you're cool with us. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Hello everybody, this is Anthony Bjarnes from AnimationStarPodcast.com. If you're wondering why I got blue face paint on, it's because I'm at Fanime. And I'm not alone. I'm along with other fellow cosplayers. I would like to pronounce your group name, but I'm horrible with pronouncing names, so I'm going to let you guys do it. Introduce yourselves.
I am Sheila Saints Maria.
I'm Siler Warren.
And we are Aicosu, but Aicosu is also acceptable.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Either one. It's a doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's okay.
Gotcha. Hey, for those who listen on my podcast, like they know me notoriously for mispronouncing names, so it's nothing new.
I would have liked to have heard your attempt.
Yeah.
My first question to you guys is, first off, how's your Fanime going so far?
It's going right.
It's
Second
going
year.
well.
Second year so
Yeah,
far.
second year.
First day was a bit calmer today. Things have gone
Things are going really
things
well.
have hyped up more.
It's colder than it was last year. Last year was a lot hotter.
Yeah. I
Which
wore this
is-
to kind of expect
We
the
were
warmth.
expecting it to be
But we weren't
summery.
expecting the warmth,
And then
now
this
I'm,
morning it was looking like it might rain almost.
I'm all skin and all goosebumps.
And it's super windy, and these are not wind acceptable costumes.
God,
so
no.
lesson
These
learned, yeah.
Gotcha.
Tiny little panel over my butt that keeps going right out the way.
You can never predict the weather. You can never predict it.
Right.
How did you two come together, and when did the idea of becoming a cosplay team start?
It happened naturally. We met in 2009 at a con. I was cosplaying at the time and he wasn't. But we met, we hung out, we became really good friends, and shortly after started dating. And when the next con was coming up, we both knew we wanted to go, but we decided that we would cosplay our OTP. So we were just going to be a couple because we were a couple and we wanted to cosplay the couple. It happened naturally. And then after that, it was just like, we're going to this con, we'll be this OTP. We'll go to this con, we'll be this couple. And then it snowballed into we are a couple cosplayers.
It became a thing that it was less like we're doing this because, there's a con. Oh, there's a con.
Yeah.
And it became this mentality like, there are always cons and we always want to cosplay, so let's
Just
do the cosplay thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. What influence? Can I talk today? What influences the next cosplays? Do you guys have a set schedule for what cosplays you want to start next and finish by?
Oh no, we're notoriously fickle about our cosplays.
We are notoriously flaky. The influence is always what we like and what we're inspired by at the time, what video games we're playing, whatever we're binge watching.
Or if there's like something out that we haven't played, but the design is so amazing, we have to like do it right now.
Yeah,
And
there
we
are
always
times
do this
where we
thing
do
where it's like
that.
we don't plan our cosplays like months in advance, like in the least bit. And when we try to, it's always this thing like it's almost done, and then something will come out, and we're like, okay, we're not wearing this. We're gonna make this the other thing.
For sure, like tomorrow was supposed to be a specific kind of cosplay, and then like 2 weeks ago a new one got released, and so now I did that one instead. Like we're bad about setting our schedule. We have a schedule, but I know it changes.
Following it is the worst.
It's the worst.
We're
Yeah,
too
we
changeable.
always change it.
We're too changeable.
Yeah.
We like things too hard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I hear it. So you guys are very spontaneous then when it comes to choosing
Yes,
cosplays.
very.
Very, very.
Yeah, it is very spontaneous.
My next question for you guys is, On average, how much do you spend on cosplay in a given month?
We have a rule, and that rule is no more than $150 per costume.
Wow.
So that's actually really low.
Yeah,
that's actually really low. Sometimes that's flexible depending on how big it is.
How much we're willing to go for a
Yeah,
cosplay.
or how small it is. Like some cosplays don't cost more than $50.
But the most we've ever spent on any cosplay wasn't it?
A 300.
300?
And that was for Astrologen, which was we brought to Fanime last year. And the only thing was like it was made from velvet.
Yeah.
So
the fabric
like
was expensive, and some of the build, just because it was a lot of different fabrics.
Yeah, but we normally don't go over the 150 rule, just to keep our budget good.
On the whole, out of like the 200 costumes we have, it's most of them are under $150, maybe even under 100.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of them, they're more likely lower than 150 than over it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But we try to promote on our blog about cosplaying on a budget, doing cosplay easily, and letting people know that
it doesn't have to be expensive to look good.
Exactly.
Yes, definitely. The one thing I give people advice, or just kind of tell people when they started out, is like you don't need like the most expensive graphic to make
Absolutely
a costume.
not. Yeah, you don't.
You really don't. You really
Yeah.
don't. There's nothing wrong with buying costumes. There's really nothing wrong with just getting clothes.
I think his total link was like $30.
Yeah, all this.
Minus the wig. Yeah. It was about $30 in total, and then Miku was not even that.
Not even
whatever the
she's-
swimsuit
she's-
was cost.
She's a white bathing suit and
Yeah,
this craft foam that we had,
exactly.
and craft foam's cheap.
I think my
so.
swimsuit was $15, and then foam we had, and googly eyes are 99 cents.
Yep.
So exactly.
Wow.
I think the most expensive thing on my body right now is the belly dancer belt that I'm wearing. Here, kind of in the background,
That's
jiggling.
the only thing that brought it to $30. 'Cause
Yeah,
the
exactly.
was like, that was $10, and the belly dancer belt was $20.
Right.
What were your early influences in the cosplay? And what was your influence to get into voice? Oh, actually, for you, what was your influence into voice acting? But at the same time, like, what are you guys' early inspiration for cosplay?
I think nothing inspires us more than the source material. Other cosplayers are great to look up to and stuff like that, but normally my standard was always held to myself and to what I'm making in accuracy. So earlier in the younger days of our cosplay time, I would look at a costume and make things and maybe skip over details, either because I didn't think that they were important, or because I couldn't do them, or I just didn't see them even. And I would make things without props, or make things without certain logos, or I wouldn't sew it with the exact seams. Now when I look at a costume and I look at the source material, I think, oh, that is a specific seam going this way, and this is a specific collar, and that's the specific color.
There was never any like specific cosplayers that we were like, this person is the reason I want to cosplay, or reason I want to cosplay this. Though she has a cute story as to why she started cosplaying, and it's not a specific cosplayer, but I saw
at my first con, I saw a cosplay of a character I really loved, and I didn't know about cosplay at all, and that was the first person I saw. Like, I went into the restroom and I saw like her, and I just thought she was real, and I was like in Disney World, like seeing a princess for the first time, and I like maybe have followed her around for like 5 minutes, and I started to realize at that con, like, people do this, like, you can just be your favorite person, and then I was like, there are so many people I want to be. I'm sure everyone experiences that, but that's definitely what inspired me.
Choosing a first cosplay is definitely a nightmare experience, because you're just like, for a lot of people, it's like, who do I do?
Right.
Not a lot of people know, like, this is the one person they do first.
Yeah. So thanks, lady, whoever you are, who did Yoko from XXholic. Yeah,
right.
she was in her Time Witch outfit. Whoever you were in Arizona, thank you. I wouldn't be here today without you.
If you remember Sheila stalking you.
Yeah.
For a bit.
I've never seen her again in my whole life.
And what was your influence for voice acting?
I've always acted, I kind of got into cosplay when I was really young. I got into cosplay when I was like 16. And a lot of people in the con community, especially a lot of like young men and everything, get into the whole like, oh, I want to do the voice acting thing, And so I was kind of there, but the inspiration for me was I've always spent a lot of time on my own with like my own voice and stuff like that. And as an actor, I tend to stretch more outside of the realm of like me in a role so much as like I really work on characterization and building characters and things like that. And also for cosplay, cosplaying characters, I always worked on the voices for the character. It used to be kind of a thing in cosplay where like when the person's cosplaying the character, a lot of people would act like the character. It used to be like a really big thing, and so I did that a lot too. And so I always used to work on impressions. And I don't know, I was told that I did well with them. I personally don't like the sound of my own voice, but I was told that I did well with them, and I was interested in that, and I started to play around outside the realm of just impressions and things like that, and working on my own voice. And I went to college, and you find out that voice acting is lucrative, and it's there's a huge variety of roles to play, and I have so many desires as an actor to play so many different kinds of characters. Voice acting seemed just the right place for the kind of performer I wanted to be.
He can also do a really good impression of Link.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to do it right now?
I just was expecting you to be silent.
Oh, well, because he's not.
I know.
I thought you were trying to tell me to like make the noises.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, well, I just like that's all I got. That's all I got. I thought you were. See, nice joke.
Yeah.
Nice joke.
I was expecting you to just be like, MSC is perfect.
Well, I ruined that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Can we do another take? Is that
we can fix it in post.
yeah, thanks. Just dub it in.
Oh yeah, for sure. What were the most difficult cosplays to create and why?
We don't have a lot of hard-made costumes. We have a lot of costumes that were just tedious because they took a long time. They weren't exactly difficult, but the process for making them was difficult. Like I cosplayed Elsa, and her corset was made out of thousands and thousands and thousands of cut up pieces of holographic paper. And that was just, it wasn't hard, but you had to sit
It's tedious.
and cut out a
It's tedious.
tiny little square.
Rather than do like a corset that has just like laying a blanket of like sequins on it or whatever.
No,
so
it was
we
all
decided
individually
to
cut.
individually scale it because we're psychopaths. So
Yeah. So that was annoying, and then we just recently did the two aunties from Kubo and
the
the
sisters, the
two-strings.
twins.
Oh,
from,
awesome.
And those also have feathers, and there was like 300 feathers.
those
per
costumes were like at least 30 full like rolls, like
Of foam.
6-foot rolls of craft foam.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot.
They
All
weren't.
the feathers were individually
They weren't
cut.
hard to make. They just took a long. Like it was
just
annoying to
tedious.
do them.
And feathers were all individually cut, individually filigreed, individually sealed, individually painted,
And then
and then
individually-
individually attached
Wow.
one by one
Wow.
to the netting of the cape.
Yeah, those were the longest costumes.
Yeah, it took forever.
Yeah.
But they weren't hard.
No.
Coincidentally, miserable to wear.
Yeah.
I think I get the feeling. There's definitely, this cosplay is a little inconvenient at times.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys emceed at last year's Fanime Masquerade. How was that like? And anything to carry over to this year's Fanime Masquerade?
We actually didn't MC
Oh.
last year. We judged last year,
Oh,
and we're
okay.
MCing this year.
Okay.
And judging was fun, and we've judged masquerades before, but judging masquerade last year for Fanime was super hard because there was so many good ones. It was like really difficult. There were such great performances that I still remember now. That are even in a lot of the cons that we've been to, just some of the best skits and some of the best stuff that we've
Oh yeah,
seen.
a
just
lot of the
ever.
performance caliber was like really,
It
really
was just
high.
tough. So
And
honestly,
despite like snags, the production of it was really
really good.
quite
I have to say that Fanime might have the best masquerade production that I've seen, and we've
Mm.
been to a lot of cons.
Mhm.
But Fanime's masquerade's awesome. I think that we're both happy to be less stressed about having to judge anybody. This
Oh
year.
yeah, especially because every masquerade does judging differently. You know,
Yeah.
you walk in the room, you have no idea how the process is going to work because
Yeah.
every masquerade is judged entirely separately. You know.
Yeah, and so I think it was fun last year, and I'm like glad that we did it. But I'm also glad that we don't have that responsibility this
Yeah.
year.
Now I just get to like.
Now
point,
we get to love everybody.
Yeah, we just get to sit there and point at the pretty people, and we don't have to make any of the decisions.
Exactly, it's awesome.
Which is really, really great. Removes a lot of the pressure. A lot of the pressure.
Definitely.
Nice. That's awesome. Can't wait for you guys.
Yeah, no, it'll be really fun, and I've emceed before, and it'll be my first time emceeing alongside Sheila for this, you know, so it'll be really nice. It'll be really fun.
Awesome. And I wait for
Excited.
you guys to do your thing this weekend for sure. As cosplay evolves over the years, what are some of the things you have noticed in cosplayers? Why they make their cosplays today?
It's easier to cosplay today than it was back in the millennium, even.
Yeah.
Wigs are readily available at the touch of a button. you know, and
You go back as far as
and they're
5 years,
$20.
and it was still harder.
I mean, back in 2009 when I started cosplaying, wigs weren't something that anybody did. Everyone used their own hair, or if they did buy a wig, it was literally from Party City. It was tough to get anything as subtle as
Good
like
wigs were expensive.
Yeah, and they were expensive. That we have like eBay and Pinky Paradise for contacts, like all those resources now are insane. And because it's become so much bigger, doing things like Warbla and thermoplastics and LED lights.
Oh yeah, nobody was doing that
Nobody
like 5-6
was.
years
Yeah.
ago, and if it was, it wasn't very prevalent. You know.
Yeah.
Cosplayers working in thermoplastics and stuff like that was something that people thought was like a reserved for the big cosplayers.
Exactly.
It's just that it wasn't known, and a lot of places didn't realize that selling it would go well.
Yeah, and now I would say that if anyone's interested in getting into cosplay, now is definitely the time because it's so
And
much
it's only
easier.
going to get easier.
It's only going to get easier too,
It's only
especially
gonna
with
get
3D
easier.
printing now.
Oh yeah.
Which is like throw the files in the printer, come back, and there's your
Cosplay
prop.
is also easier now because communities are much less toxic.
Yeah,
you know?
a little bit, yeah.
Cons used to be chock full of immense drama. And sure, everybody deals with their little bits of drama here and there, but cons are becoming much, much nicer places.
It's
to
more
be.
accepted to be a nerd these days. Because we've got the superhero
Agreed.
movies,
Yeah.
we've got video games
The
everywhere.
subculture is no longer a subculture.
Exactly. So it's like I can be at my own day job and say, "Oh, I'm a cosplayer," and they go, "Oh, I know what that is," and that's cool. Whereas if I mentioned that back in high school, like I did, people go, "Oh, weird," you know? Yeah.
I think we all felt that growing up as well, getting into
Absolutely.
cosplay.
I think every cosplayer I've known today, when they were younger, was bullied or an outcast or was considered weird. And now, when you tell it to your friends, you're like, "That's so awesome! Can you make me a Mortal Kombat?" It happens all the time.
Yeah, it's definitely much better today than it was back then.
Mm-hmm.
I asked that question. What is your advice for young aspiring cosplayers just getting into cosplay?
It doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to know how to sew. And it's okay to buy your costumes. It's totally okay. Whenever I talk to a cosplayer and they haven't done it before, they usually say, "Oh, I want to, and I thought about doing it, but I don't know how to sew. And I don't know where to start." That's where everyone says. And it's really just pick your favorite character. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter who it is. You could pick one that's like closer to like a Pokemon trainer rather than a Monster Hunter armor. But I have met cosplayers who have done full-scale armor as their first costume, and it looks amazing. It just depends on what you want to do. Pick a costume, print out a bunch of references of it, break it down into pieces. Does this look like a shirt? Does this look like pants? What kind of shoes
A
could
really nice
these
place
be?
to start if you can't sew is finding clothes that exist and just gluing them into the shape you need them to be.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's no better way, even for someone who wants to learn to sew and doesn't want to cosplay. The best way to know how something works is to break it down. So the best way to know how clothes come together is to take them apart. If you go to like a Goodwill and take apart a jacket, then you start to learn when you take the sleeve off and stretch it out, that's the shape a sleeve has to be in order to go on. And like that's how...
When she started sewing, she didn't use patterns at first at all. It was just based on her previous knowledge of assembling and disassembling existing clothes. You know,
Exactly.
Sleeve patterns for us were a matter of, oh, I know a sleeve has this shape, and I know it connects here, and I know that this circle goes like this, so here, and then it's a sleeve, no pattern necessary.
And little do they know that they've just conquered the skill of draping, which is that's a whole major in apparel college, you know.
Yeah.
So I would say go to a Goodwill, buy some clothes, cut them up, explore, and just keep going, you know. And eventually it comes out of necessity because the first 4 years of cosplay, I didn't even have a sewing machine. Everything was hot glued, everything.
Yeah,
and
everything.
It wasn't until I needed a pattern because the reference I was looking at, the cosplay I was looking at, wasn't existing clothes anymore. I'm like, this is officially
You
a
hit the point where
spacesuit.
you can't.
Yeah.
You have to.
You have
create
to
it.
start making it on your own, and then it was like, oh, well, this one has armor, so now I have to learn how to use armor, and so I used foam, and then it's like, oh, well, I want this one to be more durable, so now I have to use warp. It comes out of necessity.
An amazing thing is that a lot of people feel like maybe the knowledge for cosplay is kind of gatekept somewhere, and really you can find the knowledge you need anywhere. Like it's out there. If you don't know how to do something, just continue searching. Continue your Google searches. Tune your terminology. Change things.
Someone somewhere,
here and there.
somewhere has already done it.
Has already done it.
At least something similar, and like you won't I guarantee you have such good luck if you go to Google and put Sailor Moon tiara tutorial, and I guarantee it'll be fine.
It really is. It might seem like simplifying. People like say Google it, and you think, well, that it's not that simple, but really
it kind of
for cosplay. It is. You just use what you're doing, tutorial, and somebody has made at least a piece of it and has shown part of the process.
And we still hot glue things. This whole costume is no sewing.
Like
this is all glue.
We're almost 9 years in, and
we
there's
made it last night.
Last night it's almost entirely glue.
There's not a thread. There's not one stitch on this. It's just glue.
Some of our biggest cosplays have been foam, fabric that's been glued together.
There's no sewing here either.
Also,
I bought a bathing suit and I glued armor on it. That's it.
We're wearing an outfit tomorrow that there's some sewing on it, but on the whole it's craft foam armor and sewn and glued.
It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be expensive.
It really doesn't. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong. It's not like saying you're snobby or snooty if you're trying to make something that's durable or is made out of thermoplast or anything. You're trying to go hard or expensive. More power to you. But don't think or be intimidated by it if you don't cosplay yet, that you have to cosplay that way.
Yeah. You'll learn it. It'll come in time.
And just buy a whole cosplay if you want to.
That too.
There's literally nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, don't just buy one.
Mm-hmm.
Just experience being that person because it's so much fun.
Oh yeah.
My next question for you guys is, do you ever look back at the progress you guys made over the years in cosplay?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, a lot. I think Skylar and I wouldn't be where we are today in our regular lives if we didn't cosplay. When I went to college, I went to college for video game design and character art.
Wow.
And I learned that I hated that. And I also learned the entire time, every time I came home from class, I was making cosplay. And every time my friends came home from class, they were drawing. And that was telling to me. And after the first year, I was like, obviously I like this better, and obviously I'm doing okay with it. So I switched my entire major to costume design, just in the middle of my sophomore year.
Wow.
And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have graduated with that knowledge. I wouldn't have moved to Los Angeles, and I wouldn't have worked with Cirque du Soleil. It changed my whole life. And on a more emotional level, in high school, I was the meanest person you could ever meet. It was really awful, and I hated girly things, and I didn't like makeup, and I didn't have very many friends, and I was very socially shy and also socially mean. And just through cosplaying, I'm Miku, and then the exact opposite. I think 16-year-old me would throw up right now.
Same.
Totally.
The experience of being in conventions has definitely grown us as people.
Yeah.
Both professionally, I don't think I would have pursued acting as a career, gone to college, had the opportunities that I've had, working in the acting world, and having done the performances that I have. If it hadn't been for the interest and the kind of feel that you get from that in a convention space.
Yeah, and we definitely wouldn't be public speakers or doing workshops if we hadn't started doing them in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, 16-year-old me was a rude little sceney goth kid who didn't like anybody for anything and was generally just kind of persnickety and lonerish, I mean, I consider myself quite nice now, and I'm not nearly as being in conventions has definitely increased my open-mindedness.
Yeah.
It's given me a new perspective on things that a younger, less experienced me consider to be different or adverse. It's a very it's a place that is accepting, and kind of, as long as you're here and kind of willing, it builds acceptance in you.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that.
Really makes you kinder and tolerant if you're willing to be that kind of person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool, awesome. Speaking of cosplays, this Fanime, any cosplay that stood out to you so far?
Well, I mean, it's the last year has been the year of Overwatch.
Oh, that's true.
And so every time I
know I've already,
I cry a little bit
I've maybe
because
taken a
it's-
picture of 4 Overwatch really handsome men that I have seen and stuff.
Overwatch boys.
I do like that, so I have stopped some there are some handsome men here at Fanime. And I did stop some beautiful women too. There's a really cute diva I gotta show you a picture of. So yeah, I've seen quite a few, and we're smitten with Overwatch, which is why we love that. But we saw some really good Bloodborne costumes,
right?
Which he's
oh my gosh, nobody ever
game.
Cosplays from Friend Software games in such droves. I must have seen 5 good hunters yesterday and a slew of Dark Souls cosplayers, and I was just like,
he's jealous.
why are you conglomerating at Fanime? Like, where did you all come from?
True, yeah.
What rock did somebody kick over and all of them just kind of scurried out?
It is a little odd.
Kind of whispering like, get good as they scurry away.
Nice.
Yeah, no, that kind of thing. I've also seen a lot of like, I've only recently started like sort of bending the gender lines as far as like the way that I dress and things like that. And I've seen so much of it this year at Fanime, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
much more crossplays. It's good to see them too.
Yeah, it's really nice because the more you blur the line between like the gender binary, the sooner there won't be a line at all. And I feel like
the best place
cons
to do
are a
that
good
is,
place to start
cons
with
and
it.
cosplayers are a good day.
And it feels good because there's a ton of it here, and it's nice. It's really, really fun.
Mm-hmm. I can agree. I once crossplay as a girl years ago. The first thing I've learned is I have more respect for you guys in terms of like wearing heels. My feet were killing me by the end of the day.
Yeah.
It really is an experience, you know.
It's a good thing. I mean, where else are you going to experience that, you know, in an acceptable manner?
And where somebody's not going to like jeer or like say a thing.
At a con, someone's just going to stop by and be like, "You look so cute."
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
And not be upset when you don't respond with anything like when you respond with anything like deeper than like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
You look so cute. Thanks.
Thanks, bud.
Howdy. And they're like, you know, outside of con space, somebody might get upset.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's really nice. Just one thing I noticed about Fanime this year.
Awesome. I'll make this as the last question. If you were somehow to time travel back in time, Samurai Jack style, and we were to meet yourself, what would be the one thing you would tell yourself, your younger version of yourself, about cosplay in the future?
I would probably tell myself, I mean, if we're talking about cosplay me, who had just started, I would have said, keep going, kid. Keep going places. You're fine. But if we're talking me pre-cosplay, I would say spend less time on yourself, be more open, and be nicer. Like, get that out of your brain.
Yeah, that's my thing is we kind of evolved as people to really learn that you don't get anywhere when you're not nice.
Yeah.
You're really not. Like, even the biggest people that are mean or have the most going on in their lives that are mean don't have as much as they could if they were nice. Mm-hmm. And that's like and you asked the question, like, advice to like or something like to tell the new cosplayers. Cosplay all aside. Be nice.
Yeah, just be nice.
Just be nice. Just be nice. Even in the face of like certain levels of adversity, not extreme, but like certain levels of adversity, just be nice. And,
for competition.
And young me
for masquerades
was
and stuff like that.
Really competitive, was very jealous, was very sort of had this kind of elitist mindset, was very judgmental. You know, when in my first year, and it didn't take long before, you know.
Oh, even for us, like, you know, cosplaying is so much easier for us now because we're so much more accepting, and even difficulties between each other of being like more accurate or being more elitist. Of
Yeah, exactly. Like it really is like there's nothing wrong with wanting to stick to accuracy, but the second you start being rude about it or
as soon
imposing
as
that
cosplay is
opinion
not
on
fun
people,
anymore, I would tell my younger self that, to remind yourself that things have to be fun, and if something doesn't work out, it's okay. Like even today, I had some like really huge wings, but they broke, and so I threw them away. And it's just like I know that, like, you know, 18, 19-year-old me at a con, I would have been upset.
She would have lost her mind. She would have been a wreck, you know?
I would have went home. I would have been upset. I'm at a con. I'm having fun. And the rest of it's still on. I still look good. I don't need wings to make me look awesome.
I mean, I don't think a younger me would be wearing this at all. I would. Well, yeah, because 16-year-old me had such a strict, you know, view of like, a boy should wear this, a girl should wear this, and I mean, I was at Nintendo Gathering earlier when, like, my backside full out, and I'm not sitting here like, ugh, gross. I'm literally turning around to people being like, you're welcome. I mean, that's just me now, you know? Just tell my younger self,
relax.
be nicer, relax and be nicer sooner.
Relax.
You know?
I want to say thank you guys for joining me for this interview, and I thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
If you guys enjoy what you like, hit that subscribe button. There'll be more interviews to come, as well as other cool things. And also the audio will be on the podcast tunes as well. Anyways, that's going to do it for this interview. We will see you guys next time.
Out.